Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and that's right, welcome to Western Movie Week. Yep, because for this week, I'm going to be reviewing a list of Western films, and, hence this being Western Movie Week, and, because the Western genre being a very important part in film history, and, well, let's face it, Western movies have made film history, and that also goes for Western materials that have been on television. They've made television history. Yeah. And it's only fitting for, the first Western film that I'm reviewing for Western Movie Week, and seeing as how this is a Western starring the late legendary and one of the top best actors to be in Western films, John Wayne. That's right, from 1969, True Grit. Yes, True Grit. Finally, at long last, I'm reviewing True Grit. Because, True Grit, making Western movie history and movie history in general. Because who'd have thought that, and for those in the late 1960s, that this would be such a phenomenal and fantastic Western movie, a Western movie masterpiece. Need I go on? I'm glad to have finally have seen the original True Grit, and especially, this is the first True Grit film that I've seen, because, well, we all know that there's a remake of True Grit, and a really good one, done by the good old Coen brothers. So I had seen the original first, and then I eventually saw the remake. And I'm glad to have finally have done so, seeing the original, and then going to the remake. You get my point. Yes, I gotta say, because the original True Grit from 1969, again, it's a masterpiece. It's such a great Western film, where the story goes and what happens, and with, great characters and great chemistry, and with, Western action going on, and, the plot and so on, just, what more do I have to say? Because it's really great. And and the same goes for the remake, and, the whole thing of, which is better, the original or the remake? Well, I'd say both are good, because how can you not love the original? The original is fantastic, but of course the remake is good. Because, it's great to see that, sometimes both the original and the remake can both be really good. But of course, I guess for some people, they seem to favorite the remake, but that's not to say, they don't like the original anymore. You get my point. So, and, because, again, just, the original is fantastic, and like I said, it made film history, Western film history, etc., and, the fact that John Wayne would win an Oscar for his performance as, one of the main characters, and not to mention, John Wayne's character in True Grit would make his way to the top 100 list of heroes and villains, of AFI, if you know about that, and, a well-deserved Oscar win for John Wayne, for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Not to mention because John Wayne's character would be in another film, a follow-up and such, that's canon to the original True Grit. I'm sure some of you might know about it, because I feel like that's underrated, pretty much, and, people seem to forget about that. I mean, of course, they know about, the original True Grit, but little do some people know that there was technically a follow-up / sequel, I want to say, sequel, spin-off, whatever, but anyways. But again, overall, the original True Grit, because I'm glad to have seen it, and fun fact, I got to see this, and the first time I fully saw True Grit was on the big screen, and because of, and if you're familiar with this, I've talked about it before, Flashback Cinema. They screened the original True Grit, and my dad and I went to go see the original True Grit. And I'm glad to have, for me, watching it for the first time, fully, and to see it on the big screen, that's perfect, don't you think? And if any of you had ever gotten to see the original True Grit, if if it was ever reshown at movie theaters and so on, but yeah. Okay, so, as always, read the description / the story. After hired hand Tom Chaney murders the father of a 14-year-old Maddie Ross, she sneaks vengeance and hires U.S. Marshal Rooster Cockburn, a man of true grit. Roll credits. To track Chaney into Indian Territory. As the two begin their pursuit, a Texas Ranger, LaBeef, I think I am getting his last name right, yeah, LaBeef, and fun fact in the movie, because LaBeef points out about how his name would sound in French or something, because, you know, the whole thing of speaking it in French, but anyways, a Texas Ranger, LaBeef, joins the manhunt in hopes of capturing Chaney for the murder of a Texas senator and collecting a substantial reward. Yeah. The three clash on their quest of bringing to justice the same man. Okay, so getting into the film itself, yeah, because, you know, like, it has a pretty good opening song number, and with the credits, and because we already get the introduction of the Ross family. Frank Ross being played by John Picard, if I'm saying that right, yeah, Picard. There's a K in there, so in the middle. And there's also Mrs. Ross being played by Elizabeth Harrower, if I'm saying that right, yeah. And of course, one of the main characters, that being Maddie Ross, being played by Kim Darby. Well, because her father's off gonna do some business and such, and accompanying Mr. Ross is, Tom Chaney, who, you know, works and helps with the Ross family, and Tom Chaney being played by Jeff Corey. Yeah, Jeff Corey. And, you know, we can tell already, and especially best described by Maddie, that, you know, he's trash, and, well, he has some issues, and, you know, drunk at times and such. But, you know, even Maddie's mom assuring her about Chaney, and, well, because it's thanks to Maddie's father for bringing in Tom, because, yeah, I mean, like, you know, her father bringing in Tom Chaney and another, I think, Yarnell, if I'm getting, Yarnell, if I'm getting that right, yeah, being played by Ken Renard, another guy who works at the Ross homestead and such. But, you know, Maddie complaining that Tom should have stayed at home, you know, helping out with the family and such, and it, you know, should have been Yarnell, because Yarnell seems to be, like, the best one, while Tom, as Maddie describes, just being complete trash. But in town, we see that, Tom got into close to a little brawl with some of the cowboys in a bar, and Frank Ross just breaking it up and getting Tom out of there, and just out of nowhere, Tom points the gun at Frank, and, you know, and when Frank just, you know, telling him to give him the gun and such, Tom freaking shoots him and murders him and robs from him, and just leaving Frank there, just, you know, his lifeless body. And again, just after Frank helped and brought in Tom, it's golly, talk about, like, disrespect and such from some, like, you know, disrespecting someone who has helped you and so on, and just, yeah, Tom Chaney just being a complete drunken fool, and, you know, and how evil he can be, especially when we see him an hour later into the film. But anyways, so I think the next day, because Maddie, as well as Yarnell, they arrive in town, and, you know, searching for, you know, going to the sheriff's office, but, like, at one point, they see and attend this, hanging ceremony and such, you know, 3 men being hung, and, because Maddie goes to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff being played by John Deshuti, if I don't even know if I am pronouncing his last name right, and you know me sometimes, okay? I've said this before, bear with me. Maddie questioning and asking the sheriff if Tom Chaney has been found and brought in, but there's been no sign of Tom Chaney ever since, he murdered her father, and Maddie is wanting to, hire a marshal and such. And the sheriff pointing out the best marshals to hire, and one of them, of course, being Rooster Cockburn. And, she asks about, where she can find this Rooster Cockburn, and the sheriff telling her that, well, he'll be coming into town later this afternoon with whom he has arrested. And then, of course, we get the introduction of Rooster Cockburn being played by the late legendary John Wayne. Yeah. And John Wayne, because, what do I have to say about John Wayne and his performance as Rooster Cockburn? Well, basically, John Wayne playing John Wayne, but he's still playing a character. And take, for example, Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson playing Jack Nicholson, but he's still playing characters. I guess you could say, and I think this sounds about right, characters that John Wayne and Jack Nicholson have played, yeah, because they're, I guess, basically playing as themselves. Again, John Wayne playing John Wayne and Jack Nicholson playing Jack Nicholson. But I guess you could say the characters that they play, the characters have their personalities. You know where I'm going with this? Like, I think that sounds about right. But just overall, they are playing characters, and yeah, because more than likely, because the characters that they play, they just have the personalities of John Wayne and Jack Nicholson. That basically sounds about right. But yeah, but overall, John Wayne, of course, he was a fantastic actor, from, being a cowboy to playing a soldier and doing other films where they're not westerns or that has to do with soldiers, like, that one movie, with the eye that was on an island, that one. And he did a bunch of other great movies where he was not a cowboy or a soldier. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah. And Maddie trying to get Rooster's attention. And, Maddie, I gotta say, because Kim Darby's performance as Maddie Ross, really good. And you can tell, because Maddie Ross, she's a very smart young girl, and at 14, and she's one tough cookie. And even Rooster, I think it's obvious, Rooster can sense that Maddie's a tough cookie, and, and because even Rooster commented later on that, she reminds him of himself. because I think it's obvious, like, Maddie kind of doing the same things like what Rooster would do, and Maddie, she's staying at like a hotel, or I want to say hotel, but just at a building in the town. And we also get the introduction of LaBeef, being played by the late legendary Glenn Campbell. Yeah, and Glenn Campbell in this movie, of course, he's Glenn Campbell. What more do I have to say on Glenn Campbell? Because he's terrific in this, and just, the chemistry between his character and with, Maddie Ross and Rooster Cockburn, all three of them, just the chemistry between all three of them, just really good. And fun fact, because John Wayne was unhappy with Kim Darby being cast as Maddie Ross, and he hardly spoke to her on set, but why was he disappointed? I mean, maybe that's just John Wayne for you, because, but, I mean, Kim Darby, she was fantastic. Could John Wayne not see that? Especially when the movie was completed? I'm really curious. But, not that I want to complain about it. It is very curious, and you just wonder why. Because, for us, Kim Darby, she was fantastic in this movie. All right, but anyways, continuing on, because, with the introduction of LaBeef and, where Maddie is staying at, there's a dinner happening, and LaBeef joining in, and, he looks and notices Maddie, and, asks who she is, but she just, immediately just, wants to go straight to bed. And LaBeef takes a very good guess who her name is, and he gets it right, yeah. Calling her Maddie Ross. So, and, the lady that was, I think Mrs. Floyd, I'm pretty sure, Mrs. Floyd being played by Edith Atwater. I think I got that right. because she tells Maddie that LaBeef is a good guesser and stuff like that, and also Maddie is shown her father's tracks, and what was left behind of her father, because Maddie got her father's gun, and she also got his watch and such, and a moment where she's staring at her father's watch and just gets emotional. Like, yeah, it's nice to see that she may seem like a really tough cookie and such, and she's good at talking business and with money and so on, but at the same time, and with that moment where she breaks down and just putting the watch to her cheek, like, yeah, who says that she can't get emotional? Some people, like Maddie. Yeah. And so, yeah, Maddie's still attempting to talk with Rooster Cockburn, and there's one sequence where, the court is in session, and Rooster Cockburn taking the stand and such. Things seem to go pretty well, and, once that's all done, and, Maddie trying to talk and, hire Rooster to go after Tom Chaney, and, for Maddie, she wants to see Tom Chaney hung, killed, just overall, she wants to see him die, because of her vengeance and so on. And Rooster, and we can already tell, because, at first, he wants no part of it, he's basically a grump. But, how Maddie is very smart, talking business with Rooster Cockburn, as well as some of the other characters that she interacts with. And, slowly but surely, Rooster begins to like and bond with Maddie. And as I said, Rooster, to him, Maddie reminds him of himself, as I said, yeah. And also, because, even before Maddie's father died, her father was supposed to bring back, ponies and such, and, the horses that her father had, they were to be sold, but Maddie was determined to get those horses back, and those two sequences where she interacts and negotiates with Colonel G. Stonehill, being played by Strother Martin, if I'm getting the Strother, because, there's an R, but, him. It's pretty funny, and just, gosh, Maddie, she's just, setting him straight, and talking business, and with, how much money and such, and yeah. And even, Colonel G. Stonehill in the remake, also good too. Just, yeah. Eventually, because, yeah, Maddie does get, one of the horses, and because she is going to tag along with Rooster Cockburn, and also, yeah, because Maddie getting to, meet Rooster Cockburn's family, and basically, because, whom is, Rooster Cockburn's family, is, yeah, because... Well, where was he? Because, Chen Li. His name is Chen Li. Rooster calls him Father, Chen Li. And Chen Li was being played by H.W. Gim. I think I got that right. And also Rooster's nephew, which being a cat, and he calls him the General. Because Maddie spending time with Rooster and his family. Even at one point, because there's a rat that pops up, and Rooster shooting it, Maddie disposing the rat, the cat, going after the rat, and, pretty much gonna munch on him, and Maddie saying to the General that was supposed to be your job, and so on. And Rooster and Maddie, again, talking business, and with cash, and so on, and still, for Maddie hiring Rooster to go after Chaney. And then there's one sequence where, Maddie and LaBeef get to know each other some more, and LaBeef, he too, is going after Chaney. And as I read in the description / the story, because, Tom Chaney had killed a Texas senator, and, LaBeef being a Texas Ranger. So, yeah, so again, him going after Tom Chaney, and at one point, yeah, things just get out of hand between LaBeef and Maddie. And at first, yeah, they don't like each other. So, and just how they want to go after Tom Chaney. LaBeef, he wants to bring Tom Chaney in alive, but for Maddie, she just wants Tom Chaney yeah, so, like, she just wants him freaking dead. And again, because Maddie, once again, negotiating with the Colonel, and eventually, yeah, she does get a horse, and for her, because, you know, her tagging along with Rooster, and that being, little Blackie, yeah, this little black horse and such. And by the way, because speaking of little, because, Rooster nicknaming Maddie Little Sister, yeah, and, like, when she goes to, you know, meet with Rooster again, well, LaBeef is there, and LaBeef and Rooster have been talking, and, you know, she's unpleased that, you know, with the presence of LaBeef, and, you know, the business that LaBeef and Rooster were talking, and, you know, what they're going to do, and how they want to capture Tom Chaney, and LaBeef, points out that it doesn't matter if Tom Chaney is brought in dead or alive. Well, okay, that's a good sign, because, you know, it doesn't matter if he's brought in alive or dead, because, you know, I mean, for Maddie, she wants him dead, so yeah. But, you know, things get out of hand, and Maddie just furious, not just with LaBeef, but also Rooster, and especially, like, again, talking about cash and the payment and such of the capturing of Tom Chaney. And it seems like, well, Rooster and LaBeef, they're gonna go by themselves. Even Maddie threatening the two of them, because, you know, she will bring in her lawyer, and the name of her lawyer being Lawyer Taggett. Yeah, Lawyer Taggett. And they think, Rooster and LaBeef think that she's making it up. She doesn't have a lawyer. Well, I mean, like, why would she? Especially because with how she acts, and her being a tough cookie, and she's good at talking business, and, you know, her family homestead and where she comes from. I'm just saying, and if you get my point, yeah, why would she be making up something like that? I mean, I'm just saying. But, yeah, but anyway, so Rooster and LaBeef, they proceed on, but, you know, Maddie, well, because she is tagging along, but LaBeef, he's having none of it. And Rooster, well, I don't think he's really being serious, from what I can tell, because I think, yeah, because Rooster has a good sense of feeling that, yeah, you know, they can't stop Maddie because of all that she's done, and the payments and so on, and the fact that she's got her own horse. Yeah, he knows that, well, she's determined to tag along and to go after Tom Chaney. But, you know, I guess, like, you know, he plays along with LaBeef, and even when, you know, they have her not come along, but, you know, she still, you know, finds her way to tag along, like, even, like, on her horse, little Blackie, crossing the river. And yeah, that's when Rooster comments saying that she reminds me of me. And LaBeef's response, like, you know, well, now we're not going to get along either. Like, yeah, because of what Rooster said, and if, you know, she reminds him that much of himself. But anyways, I mean, yeah, so she eventually did cross the river, and I think, yeah, she did beat them, because they were on a bridge because of their horses. They took transportation crossing the river. And then Rooster, like, whispers something into LaBeef's ear. We don't know what he's saying, obviously, but they ride along, but then, you know, Maddie, well, of course, she's still gonna tag along. And then at one point, well, there's no sign of them, but that's when LaBeef tackles Maddie off of little Blackie, and then gives her a whooping, like taking like a little like branch or whatever they're called, and just giving her a you know, spanking and so on, a whipping. And at a certain point, yeah, even like Rooster, you know, he tells LaBeef to knock it off, because, well, LaBeef is enjoying it too much, and, well, because, you know, Rooster's being serious even when he has to, you know, point the gun at LaBeef, and you can see, because, yeah, Rooster really starting to like Maddie, so, yeah. And, well, of course, Rooster being very protective of Maddie. As much as, you know, she wants to tag along and to get Tom Chaney no matter what it takes, well, still, Maddie being Rooster's pride of protection or something, you know what I mean, yeah. So yeah, so now it's all three of them, you know, together and going after Tom Chaney, and yeah, because again, the chemistry between them, so good. And to speed things up, because yeah, because at one point, you know, they come to this cabin and such, and like, I think, yeah, because they're pretending to seek shelter. But of course, you know, they're tricking them. And these two guys in this cabin, Emmett Quincy and Moon. Yeah, just named Moon. Emmett Quincy being played by Jeremy Slate, and Moon being played by Dennis Hopper. Yeah, the late Jeremy Slate and the late Dennis Hopper in this movie, and they're obviously a part of, you know, linked with Tom Chaney, and someone that Tom Chaney is teaming up with, and that being, because it was mentioned early on by Maddie Ross, and Rooster knows the name of this one criminal that it seems as though that Tom Chaney has partnered up with, and that being Ned Pepper. So again, Emmett and Moon, they are linked to Ned Pepper and as well as Tom Chaney, and they question them on, where Ned Pepper is and, about Ned Pepper and Tom Chaney and such. Moon is determined to tell them the truth and just tell them and answer their questions. But Emmett Quincy, he's not having it. And, well, when Moon, he can't take it anymore and he's going to tell them, well, because out of nowhere, Quincy cuts a couple of his fingers, a couple of Moon's fingers, and then, well, Rooster being quick enough to shoot Quincy, but Quincy still not finished, he's stabbing poor Moon, and, Quincy is down and done for, but Moon, with last bit of breath he has, and giving them more information, even at one point, because Moon asks for a nice cold drink of water, and sadly, he died, and, well, he didn't get that cold drink of water, so that's unfortunate. So now, because they, with what has happened, and, well, Ned Pepper and his men will be arriving, and because of Quincy and Moon, well, they hide in position and, gonna ambush Ned Pepper and his men, and when we do finally see Ned Pepper and his henchmen, well, yeah, because Ned Pepper being played by the legendary Robert Duvall. Yeah, and because after doing this, what would come next for Robert Duvall? I think we all know, because, well, films like, say, George Lucas's THX 1138 and the Godfather films. Yeah, so before he did those, he was in True Grit. And he didn't disappoint. He was fantastic because, he's Robert Duvall. The legendary Robert Duvall. So yeah, again, Ned Pepper and his men showing up and, well, because, wondering where Moon and Quincy are. Even at one point, Ned shot off a gun, and then, well, because LaBeef started shooting back, they were supposed to do something, but because Ned shot a gun, LaBeef then started shooting, and Rooster, saying, now he's done it, and because, well, they now have to fire at them. And also, the night before that happened, because, yeah, later that evening and the day before, Ned Pepper and his men showed up, because we got more information and background on Rooster, from Maddie, because Maddie asking, Rooster, if he ever had a family and stuff like that, and how he lost his eye. Well, he lost his eye, according to Rooster, he lost it in the war. And he did have a family. He had a wife and a son, but his wife left him for her ex-husband. And, well, she took their son with her. And according to Rooster, his son doesn't like him, and that's sad. And, all that he has, well, because that is his family. He considers his family, of course, being, because Chen Li and the cat. And, yeah, I mean, Rooster also makes a good point about cats. Cats don't belong to people and stuff like that. But, well, yeah, but, I mean, cats can still be part of family, house pets and so on. And, if cats and dogs are being very taken care of by people. So you get what I'm saying and what Rooster said. But anyways, so again, yeah, so when the next day approaches, and yeah, because Ned Pepper and his men shown up, and as I said, yeah, Ned fired off a gun, LaBeef then started shooting, and thus, yeah, they killed, I think, 1 or 2 men of Ned Pepper's. One of them actually was a pretty good kid and came from a good family, because, surely they'd be credited, right? Because, I don't know, because Bill something, I can't remember, but, honestly, I mean, there's not that much for those that got murdered by LaBeef and Rooster Cogburn. But then at one point, because, well, they take the lifeless bodies of Moon and Quincy and a couple of other men of Ned Pepper's to this shop or something, supply shop, basically. And, good people, because Rooster is familiar with them, and, okay, yeah, so I think, yeah, it's one of them, yeah, Captain Boots Finch, being played by Ron Solby. I think I got that right. And again, friendly people and trustworthy, and Rooster knowing them and helping out, taking care of the lifeless bodies, and, if, those that know them want their bodies and so on, yeah. And also, at one point, LaBeef's hand got wounded and such, and it's gonna be, it'll be attended to. And also, Dirty Bob, because Dirty Bob being played by Carlos Rivas, I think him too, yeah, at the supply shop and such. And also, yeah, to mention some of the other characters, like Gowdy, being played by Alfred Ryder, and also Barlow, being played by Donald Woods, and Frank Ross being played by, yeah, okay, I mentioned Frank Ross already, and some of the bad guys, but yeah, we'll get to the rest of the bad guys, when we come back to Ned Pepper and Tom Chaney. But anyways, and so, yeah, and to speed things up, yeah, because they do have dinner at one point at that supply shop and such, and, because they continue on, and because a moment where, Rooster just, glug, 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 because, being a funny, drunken guy, because, the thing is, in the original True Grit, whenever John Wayne, as Rooster Cogburn, that Rooster Cogburn in the original, whenever he would get drunk, it's cute. But in the remake, and with Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn, when he would get drunk, scary. Yeah, so, and you know what, that's good, because the differences between this Rooster Cogburn that John Wayne played and the Rooster Cogburn that Jeff Bridges played, so, but still gotta be the same character, but still with a bit differences, with their personalities, so anyways, so, yeah, and just, stories that Rooster would tell and such, and still, as they proceed on, still trying to locate Tom Chaney, and again, to speed things up, because, well, when they rest and camp for the night, and then the next morning, well, Maddie, she was going to fetch water and such, and Rooster just telling her, you go to fetch water, there won't be any breakfast and so on. And even LaBeef, when she's going down to the stream, river and such, LaBeef is asking Rooster if one of them should go accompany with her, because, yeah, who knows what could happen to Maddie, and because of what they're doing, and Rooster, his comment, and, well, because... And I think because knowing Maddie, she could technically handle herself, but yeah, she did at one point trip and tumble, and then when she made her way to the stream, the water and such, well, she came face to face with Tom Chaney, and yep, because, and Tom Chaney, hey, I know you, you're Maddie, the bookkeeper, and I know you, Tom Chaney, what are you doing? And I've come to fetch water. And, well, because, she does whip out her gun. I'm here to take you in, Tom Chaney. And, yeah, just threatening Tom Chaney. And Tom Chaney wasn't sure if, he didn't really think that she was gonna shoot him. And even when, Rooster and LaBeef, because they holler for Maddie and where she is, and she informs them, hollering back at them, that, yeah, she's found and is face-to-face with Tom Chaney. And, yeah, she did shoot him. And even, it was kind of nice of Tom Chaney to tell her how to pull back the lever and so on. And yeah, again, she does shoot him, and he really didn't think she was going to do it, but she did. But with the power of the shooting from her father's gun, like, it just sends her falling from her back, because how powerful that gun was, firing the bullet. And sure enough, Tom Chaney has Maddie held hostage, and then, of course, Ned Pepper stepping in, and yeah, because, again, Tom Chaney partnering up with Ned Pepper. And some of Ned Pepper's other men, because, like, there's the Parmail brothers, if I'm getting the last name right. There's Harold, being played by Jay Ripley, and Farrell, being played by Kenneth Becker. For Harold, because his dialogue is just him imitating animals, like a chicken or something, and a sheep. Because, like, he's the silly and crazy brother. So, and also some of the other cast members that were uncredited in this movie, like there's the boarding house guest being played by Leon Alton, and minor role. That's what he's credited as. I'm not joking. And if you look at the IMDb page, minor role being played by Wilfred Brimley. There's also Courtroom Spectre being played by Forrest Burns, and the boarding house guests, they were Albert Cavins, if I'm getting that right, and Gene Coogan. Yeah. And there's also card player / raftman being played by Chuck Hayward. And, yeah, so I just, wanting to mention some of the other cast members. And, oh, yeah, because the cat, the general, because being credited too, well, that's strange, because Rooster does call him the general. General Sterling Price played the Ginger Cat. But, again, Rooster names him General. Why is the cat just credited as the Ginger Cat? I don't know. It's just how it is. And the other cast members that were uncredited, like, here's another one, minor role, that also being Dean Smith. And there was Talkative Woman at Hanging, yeah, that interacted with Maddie. That was Connie Sawyer, yeah. And there's also R. Ryan Undertaker, being played by Hank Warden, and Courtroom Spectre being played by Max Wagner, and the Hangman was Guy Wilkerson. Yeah. All right. But anyway, so continuing, because again, Maddie is now held hostage by, well, Tom Chaney, but especially, because with Ned Pepper. And Ned Pepper threatening Rooster and LaBeef, because, even Maddie making up to the bad guys that there are, like, 50 marshals or something, but they know that she's lying, and, well, because, yeah, when she does tell them the truth, it's just one marshal and one Texas Ranger. Yeah, like, I think she said, like, 50 Rangers or something, but yeah, you get the point. And Rooster, like, tricks Ned Pepper, like, saying to him that, Maddie is nothing, she's a runaway, and so on. Because, well, Rooster does have a plan, and, of course, when he of course, obviously tells LaBeef, because even LaBeef at first was like, what are you doing? Are you crazy? But obviously Rooster told him. And if Maddie figured out what Rooster was actually doing, because it seemed like, yeah, Rooster and LaBeef were going to just ditch her and not help her, and so on. And again, because Harold, one of Ned Pepper's henchmen / men, because, again, imitating animals. And I like how, because Maddie questions Ned Pepper about Harold, and Ned Pepper explaining about Harold, because it's pretty obvious, because, what Harold is like, and, like, one of the silliest and stupidest, henchmen of Ned Pepper, so yeah. But anyway, so, Ned Pepper basically is planning for him and his men to proceed on, and I guess, yeah, to, make sure, where Rooster and LaBeef are and such, and, he has Maddie and Tom Chaney stay behind, and, it's nice for Ned, a good part on Ned, because, he does not want to see Tom hurt and kill Maddie at all, because, Tom is very furious, and because after what she did to him, and yeah, he, telling Tom to not lay a finger on her, and even if he does so, and even if they're not there with Tom, like, of course they're still gonna know if he did it, and if he does so, then yeah, it'll be the end of Tom from Ned and his men, yeah. And even, like, at one point, because Tom Chaney warning Maddie that there's a pit of rattlesnakes, which Tom Chaney was not, he was not wrong. He did not lie about that, because what would happen next, but we're getting there. Yeah, and also because, Little Blackie, because, well, Little Blackie is safe and sound with Rooster and LaBeef. Eventually, well, because Maddie, she was fetching water to wash her hands, and just Tom Chaney just threatening and just, insulting Maddie, and Maddie, well, because she's about to do something, and, well, she throws the hot water and such on Tom's face in her attempt to escape, but of course, Tom being quick enough to, tackle her, but then sure enough, LaBeef stepping in and pointing the gun at Tom, and yeah, because LaBeef now coming face-to-face with Tom and placing him under arrest and such, and, well, where's Rooster? Well, he's down there, and he's, gonna come face-to-face with Ned Pepper and his men, and sure enough, the moment finally arrives where we see Rooster Cogburn coming face-to-face with Ned Pepper and his men, and the dialogue between John Wayne and Robert Duvall, fantastic, and, like, what Rooster is offering to Ned Pepper and his men and such, and even, like, yeah, Ned Pepper insulting Rooster Cogburn, I call that bull talk from a one-eyed fat man. And Rooster Cogburn's reaction, just, like just that reaction he pulls off, and then of course a great line from Rooster Cogburn, and of course, John Wayne, "Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!" And of course, yeah, he's about to, charge at them on his horse Bo. Yeah, that's the name of his horse. Good thing I remember that. I remember the name of his horse. Because again, after saying that great line / quote, he's about to charge, and, well, a gunfight is about to happen, and great music playing in this, and yeah, and can't forget to mention the music and score in the original True Grit, fantastic, and at that part with, horse charging, Rooster and Ned Pepper and his men, and just the music, dun 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 dun, and just great, shots of the gun firing, and especially with Rooster Cogburn, he's holding on to, in his mouth, because with the horse, and he's got two guns, like a short gun and a rifle, yeah, just firing at them, and even though he's only got one eye, he's still good at targeting his victims, yeah, and he manages to kill a couple of Ned's men. One of them, I think, yeah, did escape, and, well, poor Harold, because, yeah, I can tell he was one of them. I think both brothers did get shot, but the other one, I think, ran off, so, and, well, Rooster, he did get Ned Pepper, and he's very wounded just about right here, but Ned, he shot and killed Rooster's horse, so Rooster's horse Bo, collapses, and Rooster's struggling to get off, because, the horse being on top of him and on top of his leg and struggling to get free, while Ned barely able to, he's, with how much he's got left, because of how severely wounded he is, him slowly, on his horse, slowly approaching Rooster, and Rooster still struggling, but sure enough, LaBeef, he saves Rooster's life. LaBeef is the one that shoots and murders Ned Pepper. So, yep, Ned Pepper is done for. And, yeah, good on LaBeef's part. And then at one point, well, yeah, because Rooster, he did finally break free from Bo. Even he said to his horse, "Damn you, Bo," and, you made me swear at you, and so on. Then at one point, well, Tom Chaney, behind Maddie and LaBeef, well, he's planning something up his sleeves, like grabbing a giant rock, and yeah, because when it seems like everything's good now, Well, not quite, because, well, Tom Chaney, hitting the rock right on LaBeef's head. It was a hard hit to the head, and, LaBeef collapses. And, well, good on Maddie's part, because, she does fire again at Tom Chaney, but because of the fire, the gun blast, because it sends her flying backwards again, and she falls into the pit, and supposedly where rattlesnakes may be, and, and Rooster, because, now he's riding on little Blackie, and he's making his way. But for Maddie, because, when she fell into the pit, her arm was broken, and her trying to break free, and, well, she, of course, comes face to face with a rattlesnake. And, even when I rewatched this, a couple the couple of times that I watched this movie, and, of course, before, I'm reviewing it, just those chills and the suspense of the rattlesnake. Like, is it not obvious? Don't you think? Like, geez, anything that has to do with snakes and deadly snakes, because the suspension every time, like, whenever you rewatch a movie that has, like, deadly snakes and such, does it still not give you the chills and suspense? Just, because of what may very well happen and what does happen to poor Maddie. But thankfully, at the end of this, But anyway, so, Maddie trying to, stop the rattlesnake from coming towards her, like, whacking at it. And by the way, because that was a real rattlesnake. Ratty? Yeah. And of course, Rooster making his way, and, well, because Tom Chaney, because he's barely alive, because of where Maddie shot him, and just saying horrible things to Maddie, and because she's down that pit. But when Rooster shows up, he finishes off Tom Chaney once and for all, and Tom Chaney's body goes falling down into the pit as well. So that's officially it for Tom Chaney. And Rooster, helping Maddie get out of there. I mean, she can't do anything because of her broken arm, so it's up to Rooster, because, attending with a rope, wrapping it and such to a stoned rock, and climbing down, and, well, Maddie warning him about, a rattlesnake, and, he tries to shoot and kill the rattlesnake, but, didn't get the rattlesnake, and sure enough, the rattlesnake bites Maddie's arm. Oh, jeez. Again, just the suspension and just, But of course, eventually, and thankfully the second time Rooster shoots the rattlesnake, he got it. So he got the rattlesnake. And Rooster helping Maddie, and, she wants her father's gun, and he retrieves it, and she also says that she wants the gold piece, but I think the gun is enough for her, and because Rooster's comment, do you want the rattlesnake as well? And just, telling her that it's not necessary, and it's nothing worth it to get the gold piece and such of her father, etc. And LaBeef, he seems okay at first, and he does help pull them back up, and getting on little Blackie, but with how much strength LaBeef has, and when he successfully helps Rooster and Maddie get back up to the surface, out of the pit, sadly, LaBeef dies. Yep, he collapses off of the horse, and that's it for, sadly, that's it for poor LaBeef. And Maddie, she doesn't want to leave LaBeef there. She doesn't want to leave him there and such. But Rooster's saying, I'm not the one who I'm not the one who's not going to leave him there, and so on. Because what more can they do for LaBeef? I mean, we do find out that LaBeef's body was recovered and his body was properly buried and so on. But Rooster is just going to do whatever it takes to get Maddie the treatment she needs of her arm, and any risk that she might lose her arm. Like, first she broke it, but to make it worse, her arm was bitten by a rattlesnake, and you know, they're riding on Little Blackie, but Little Blackie, according to Maddie, can't hold both of them, and you know, because of a long journey. But Rooster, like, he's gonna do whatever it takes, even if like the risk of causing Little Blackie to die, and just, you know, yeah, and eventually at one point, yeah, Little Blackie collapses, and that's it for poor Little Blackie. And well, Rooster, he's still not giving up, and he does hijack a wagon. 3 cowboys, you know, because they were at the river, and they do notice what Rooster's doing. They were about to pull their rifles at Rooster, but he was quick enough to do so. You know, point his gun at them, and you know, throw your rifles in the water, and you know, now I'm borrowing this wagon. And yeah, could they not tell him because, you know, of poor Maddie who's unconscious and such? Yeah, because this was serious. So he borrows, well, yeah, because he, you know, and this was an emergency, a medical emergency, obviously. So he borrows the wagon, and eventually he gets to the supply shop because, you know, of Captain Boots Finch, and those at the supply shop, they help and attend to Maddie's snake bite wound and so on. And then after that, well, we come back to where Rooster lives with his family, you know, the cat and Chin Lee, and then at one point, they are paid a visit by, and Maddie was not joking, and Rooster, because his reaction to seeing him, you know, just, well, I'll be damned. Maddie's lawyer Daggett, being played by the late John Fielder. Yeah, I did get the last name right. And for us Disney fans, we remember John Fielder best as being the original voice of Piglet from The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Just, you know, almost every Winnie the Pooh material that he's done voicing Piglet. And he's also done a couple of other voices in other Disney materials, like most notably voicing one of those elderly characters in The Emperor's New Groove. Yeah. And I also remember seeing John Fielder in an episode of The Twilight Zone, Night of the Meek. He played Art Carney's boss, Henry Corman, the character that Art Carney played in that episode, yeah. So yeah, he plays Lawyer Daggett, and because again, Rooster thought that Maddie was making it up, the appearance of Lawyer Daggett was not what Rooster was expecting. You know, he's shrunk, and I think like Lawyer Daggett, he's insulted by that, and you know, his response to, you know, to what Rooster said, I could throw you in jail, but because of what you've done, and with, because of helping Maddie, yeah, because of the reward money that Maddie's lawyer it gives to Rooster. But Rooster, he has something, up his sleeves, because offering like money and such, giving some of the money to his cat, and just yeah. But also, Lawyer Daggett also tells Rooster that Maddie wants him. She wants him to have him, help her get back home and such. Yeah. And, well, the final scene of the movie, the final scene / sequence, it's wintertime back at the homestead of Maddie's family, the Ross family. And the location of where, and I meant to bring this up, the location of where Maddie and her family live, it's Darnell in Yell County. If I'm saying Darnielle, or if one of the D, if the D is silent, Darnielle in Yell County, yeah, because that's where her family live. So the Ross homestead / residence. And again, it's wintertime, and well, thankfully Maddie has recovered, and she did not lose her arm, but it is like it's in a cask and such, so yeah. So it'll heal eventually. So, but yeah, it's good to see that, yeah, her arm did survive, like, from being broken, and to top it off, being bitten by a rattlesnake. Yeah, so, and Maddie pointing out to Rooster because of a grave site that's out back in the Ross's home, where, yeah, because her father is buried, and she points out to Rooster that, her mother will be buried right next to her father, and she'll be buried right next to her daddy. And she's even considering and tells Rooster that she would like for him to be buried right next to her. But Rooster, well, he points out to Maddie, and I think, yeah, he did have a good point, that probably more than likely she would want her husband and kids to be buried right next to her. And if, if she ever would get married and have kids. And, because how far the relationship has come between Maddie and Rooster, yeah. And, how sweet it was of her, because offering, Rooster can be buried alongside with the Ross family. But, I'm pretty sure because he liked that offer, but because, again, with what he pointed out to Maddie, if she ever were to get married and have a husband and have kids, yeah. And also she pointed out some of the other family members, like where her brother would be buried and such, and, her brother's family. But yeah. And even Maddie, she offers and gives Rooster her father's gun, because it seems like he'll need it. And yeah, because in Rooster making a comment because of, what that gun did to her when she used it and so on. Yeah, because a great way to end it. And, well, because also Rooster, he got a new horse, and, not as great as, say, when he had Bo. But still, the horse being a pretty good new horse for him and so on. And Rooster getting the last bit of dialogue, come see an old one-eyed fat man, however he says it, and thus he rides off. And as what you would expect in most Western films with John Wayne, because riding off and gonna go off and have more adventures and stuff like that. Yeah, and Maddie smiling, and again, because as he rides off, and the horse jumping a fence post, and, yeehaw, and yeah, and the end credits, and, the end, and the cast members, and a note thanking, I guess, the U.S. nation or something, because of this it has to do with the filming locations and so on. Yeah, but yeah, just overall, that was a great way to end it, in a stilled shot of Rooster with his hat and waving his hat, and with the credits rolling. Yeah, just overall a great way to end the film right there, and with pretty good music, because yeah, the music that plays, da na na na, and a bit of a trumpet. Yeah, just great way to end it right there. True Grit from 1969. Just again, it's a masterpiece of a Western film. It made film history, Western film history altogether. Yeah, it's a great and memorable film, a classic, a Western classic. What more do I have to say? The story is fantastic, the characters and, the casting, the suspense and the action and the Western action stuff, and the music and score, and the funny moments and the emotional moments. Yeah, just overall, it's a fantastic and a masterpiece of a movie, Western film, yeah. And I'm giving the original True Grit, well, it's obvious, 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars for the original True Grit. And what about you guys? What do you think of the original True Grit itself? Do you like this, or do you like the remake, or do you like both? I mean, who wouldn't like both versions of True Grit, the original and the remake done by the Coen brothers? And which is your favorite character? And, John Wayne is Rooster Cogburn, and, Glenn Campbell, Kim Darby. What were some of your favorite moments, favorite lines, the action and suspense, the funny and emotional moments? Just, yeah. Overall, just what do you think of the original True Grit itself, and with what I've had to say, my review, and yeah, what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the original True Grit from 1969. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video. review. And Western Movie Week has just begun. Stay tuned later tonight because the next Western film I'm going to be reviewing alongside with my dad, well, it's a comedy Western. And by the way, because John Wayne was considered to be in this one comedy Western, and eventually the role that John Wayne was considered to play would be given to Gene Wilder. And this comedy Western being written and directed by good old Mel Brooks. I think it's obvious, and you know exactly what it is. Again, stay tuned for that. Take care, and until I review the sequel slash follow-up slash spin-off to the original True Grit, Rooster Cogburn, and the remake, peace out, partners.